Welcome to the June monthly market report. June is National Homeownership Month, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're going to talk about what every buyer needs to know in the area of prices, inventory, and I'm going to cover at the end the non-financial benefits of homeownership. And it's so important right now because there's so much news out there about some of the headwinds that homeowners and potential homeowners face relative to affordability and all that. And I think it's really important this month that we learn and understand how to articulate the non-financial benefits of home ownership. So let's get started. All right, so let's go ahead and hop in here. Most agents know what's happening. We like to start off this way. Good agents understand what's happening, but the great agents today can explain what's happening. I mentioned that we're going to cover the topics of pricing, inventory, the non-financial benefits of ownership. It's critically important that we can explain those things in today's market. And if we start here with what every buyer needs to know about home prices. I think it's probably one of the best places for us to start for a number of different reasons. First, there are headlines appearing right now to say people are cutting their price. Does that mean home prices are going to come down? There are people wondering, will the market continue to sustain the level of price appreciation that we've seen? And then what does the rest of the year look like? I'm going to give you a forecast of what has been updated for this year in residential home price appreciation. But we'll start here with bank rate. They said this: buy now or wait. That's the question prospective home owners have been struggling with to answer in today's housing market. Home prices have been skyrocketing recently, and the Federal Reserve worked to tame inflation, sent mortgage rates soaring. The combination has led many would-be buyers to pick the wait side of the equation. This is a question. Should I buy now? Should I wait? We talked about several months ago in the monthly market report, the study that Bright MLS did, where they said 72% of buyers last year abandoned their search because of rising mortgage rates, really because of cost. And we know that bears down on the market. And so a lot of people wondering, should I do it now? Should I wait? And, we need to be able to articulate what is happening with home prices. Nobody wants to buy anything if they believe the price is going to come down. Now, certainly there are affordability challenges. According to NAR and Jessica Lotz here, home buyers face the most difficult affordability condition in nearly 40 years. The elements of affordability that, if you follow the monthly market report, are wages or home prices, which is what we're talking about, and mortgage rates. Critical factors that weigh in on affordability. We know that's challenged right now, but what is going on with home prices? What about these headlines that say our price is going to come down and people are maybe cutting prices? There's a very big difference between somebody lowering their asking price and home prices falling. But if we look at the same home sales trackers that Case-Shiller and FHA use, that's the best way to look at home prices. They measure same home sales in the market, not median price or not something else, not list price. And this is a look starting back in January of last year through March of this year. Now, March is the most recent numbers that we have. Those run in arrears. Takes them a couple of months to put that together. But you see positive home price appreciation, certainly this year, January, February, and March, little bit of, depreciation, if you want to call it that, in January, but, price appreciation in February and March from both Case-Shiller and FHFA. NAR goes on to say this: astonishingly, greater than 90% of the country's metro areas experienced home price growth despite facing the highest mortgage rates in 2 decades. In the current market, rising prices are the direct result of insufficient housing supply not meeting full demand. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but there's no doubt that the lack of homes on the market has kept upward pressure on prices, and is certainly forecasted to continue. The mortgage report says with the continued imbalance in supply and demand, home prices are expected to keep rising. So the question is, how much will home prices rise this year? I've got the most updated forecast that I'll share with you here in just a minute. But we started off the year saying, hey, we think we'll see about 5% home price appreciation. We thought we would see the Fed come in and cut the Fed funds rate and see a little bit of relief in mortgage rates. We haven't seen that relief as much so far in the year. We still do expect in some of the forecasts that we'll see the Fed funds rate cut in the second half of the year and see a little bit of relief on mortgage rates. That's certainly the outlook right now. But if we look at price outlook, this is the most recent update of those that we follow, the 7 forecasters from Fannie to Freddie Mac there. If you see the wide range of anywhere from 0.5% to 4.8%, almost 5% price appreciation, the average being 3%. Now, what would I say about this right now? Well, a couple of things stick out. Goldman Sachs has lowered their appreciation forecast to 3.8%. Freddie Mac has lowered their price appreciation to 0.5%, which I don't understand that. I think they're off on that, truthfully. So you're seeing forecasters be less bullish on price appreciation than they were, maybe a month or two ago, specifically due to the volume of homes, the velocity of transactions in the market, and mortgage rates specifically. The average of these 3%. Where do I think? Somewhere between 3 and 5%, a very normal, healthy price appreciation year for residential real estate. But I'll say this, we do see, forecasters saying we'll get relief in the second half of the year in mortgage rates. Not significantly, probably will not be in the fives by the end of the year, but maybe we make it to 6.5 sometime at the end of the year or the first half of next year. And I think as we see rates come down, we'll see more activity, we'll see more price appreciation. Lawrence Yun went on to say, in the current market, rising prices are the direct result of insufficient housing supply, not meeting the full demand. Depending on where you look, about 1.5 million to 2 or 3 million homes undersupplied in this country still, and that keeps upward pressure on prices. And the reason for that is the lack of available inventory, like Lawrence Yun is saying here. And I think that leads us into this next topic of what do buyers need to know about inventory? If I can help them understand prices, how do I help them understand inventory and where we sit? And there's some interesting things that are happening there right now. But I'll start with Bill McBride. Bill does such a good job in the Calculated Risk blog. He said, I always like to start with inventory since inventory usually tells the tale. And current inventory is increasing year over year, but is still well below pre-pandemic levels. Here's a look at what Bill is saying. If we look at this week that I'm recording, this is the first week in June. The same week this week as compared to the first week in June of last year, 38.4% more available inventory in the market as compared to right now. So there are more homes, a little over a third more available for those that are out looking. But the same week in 2019, we're below that by almost 36%, 35.7%. So inventory is climbing, but not yet at the place that we've seen in prior years, specifically prior to the pandemic. The pandemic came along, depleted inventory across the country, and we're slowly building back. And here's maybe even a better look from Realtor.com. This is active listings in May of each year going back to 2017. And I'll call 2017, 2018, 2019 the last normal years in real estate before COVID set in. And you see somewhere between 1.1, 1.2 million available homes, active homes in the market as measured by Realtor.com. Then 2020 comes along and that number starts to drop. If you think about the summer of 2020, that was certainly a different time of year. And then we went on this run where interest rates came down. Everybody said, we're going to jump into the market. We depleted inventory 2021, 2022, 2023. You see us sort of inching our way back up to some of the more, I'll call it normal levels, but still way behind, way below where we've been in the past, and where there's no doubt that we need. A graphic that shows this right here. This is a look each month, starting off 2021, 2022, 2022, 23, and then 2024. And you see that inventory starting to climb. We're higher than where we've been in the past 3 years but lower in the prior years for that. If this trend keeps up, we'll sort of surpass where we were in 2020. I think that'll be a good thing for active inventory in the market. Certainly, people that are buying want more choices for homes on the market. There was a time that a lot of people abandoned their search for a home. We talked earlier about interest rates, but also people abandoned their search because they just couldn't find something. They couldn't find what they were looking for on the market. The change year over year, depending on the state that you're in, the national average, just over 35% growth in inventory. I'm in Virginia, 27%. I know we have a lot of people in California, 37% more inventory in the market. You see some of these markets like Florida, 70% more inventory in the market right now than the same time last year. That's dramatic. So depending on where you're at, there certainly likely are more choices that are out there. Maybe a couple of states, Nevada, South Dakota, where inventory has come down, but the majority of the country is seeing more inventory. Realtor.com said this: sellers continue to list their homes in higher numbers this May as new listed homes were 6.2% above last year's level. While the notable deceleration from last month's 12.2 growth rate, it marks the 7th month of increased listing activity after a 17-month streak of decline. That's amazing. If you think about that, for 17 straight months, inventory declined in this country, and we just wrapped up the 7th month of increasing listing activity. So that is a good sign. If we look at new listings in this country, you sort of see this picture right here, the green bar there being May, the year of 2024, but up through May of 2024, above last year, but not what we've seen in years prior. So Lance Lambert said this: why are new listings up year over year? The lock-in effect is easing a bit as the initial mortgage rate shock recedes in the rearview mirror, and as some sellers come to terms with the fact that their life circumstances have changed and the sub-4 mortgage rates aren't returning anytime soon. Additionally, some newbie investors who piled into the market during the boom are realizing that being a landlord is not easy. I think that is a true statement. There are a lot of people that said, we'll hang on to this house, we'll do this, and maybe they're realizing now, I do not want to be a landlord. Mike Simonson from Altos, love Mike and all the work they do. After 2 years of higher mortgage rates, sellers are slowly coming back into the market. We'll continue to have gradually more sellers. And I do believe that to be true. I believe rate lock will begin to ease itself up. I believe we'll see more people that put off a decision to sell for one reason or another will get back into the market. One of the interesting things that is true about this market is the overwhelming number of new construction homes that make up available inventory. Right now, over 1 in 3 homes in the market in new inventory is new construction. That number normally runs about 13%. So, double, certainly a little more than double what's normally in the market. And builders are building. They brought a lot of inventory to market. They're figuring out how to make it work from a cost standpoint, whether they're buying down the rate, doing something creative with the financing or alternative financing to get people into these new homes. So I think that's an important point that we want to keep in mind. I'll give you one more quote on inventory before we go to the non-financial benefits. But I think we understand prices. We can articulate inventory. We can then equip people to make good decisions about their housing. Lisa Sturdivant from Bright MLS said the new home market has been an outsized share of the housing inventory. So home builders have been able to attract prospective home buyers who are seeing very limited supply in the existing home market. No doubt builders have won in this market. They continue to win, and we want to stay on top of that. I would say this: look, people have a lot of opinions about builders, but having access and understanding what is going on in your area with builders is critical today. Certainly, depending on where you're listening to this, some areas have builders that are building. Some areas have builders have inavailability or not a lot of land, maybe in a metropolitan area where there's not a lot of building activity. But if it is something true in your area, I would highly suggest that you understand it and know what's going on with the builders in the market. So let's maybe spend the last few minutes of our time together talking about the non-financial benefits of home ownership. This idea of owning a home, the American dream, and you even think about it, it's likely why the majority of us overwhelmingly got into this business was to help somebody buy a home, turn over the keys, and see them achieve that dream. I think right now that is a topic that we need to in June, National Homeownership Month, be very loud about and uh, share that knowledge and share the benefits of home ownership. I think even sharing how maybe you've helped somebody achieve the dream, whether you're listening and you're an agent, you're a law officer, whether you're in title business, whatever you do to help people achieve the dream of home ownership. We need to talk about that. But I was thinking about this. I think this right here articulates the reason we want to do that. It's the look on someone's face when they step into their home. Maybe it's a child getting their own bedroom for the first time. Maybe it's a couple that's coming together and got married and maybe they're establishing their future life together. So many reasons that people buy homes and the emotions that come with that. We all know those emotions. And we also know that we're inundated with these headlines. And I pulled a few, our research team got these here in the last couple of weeks. Americans say it's the worst time ever to buy. When will prices be affordable again? And oh, by the way, I hired an agent to sell my home. Do I now have to pay the buyer's broker? All of that was introduced in the NAR settlement. And we talked about, rising prices, lower affordability, all the things that bear down on our business right now. This is a topic that, most of the things that we talk about here on the monthly market report are, in the area of the financial benefits of home ownership. But what about the non-financial benefits of home ownership? Let's not forget those. Let's be very, very vocal about those. Every year, the Gallup organization does a survey and they say, what is your opinion of the best long-term investment? And overwhelmingly, Americans have said real estate is the best long-term investment for me and my family. 36% voted that more than stocks and mutual funds, more than gold, more than savings accounts, more than crypto. Buying a home is the best investment. It's not just Gallup. Bank of America did a study as well. Our research continues to show that the vast majority of prospective home buyers overwhelmingly feel buying a home now or in the future is the best decision for them in the long run. So we know that people, they look at it and they say, I want to buy a home. I want to do that. That's important to me. I believe it's a good investment. I believe it's what I want for my family. But a lot of the reasons that people make the decision to buy a home are the emotional based reasons. In that same survey from Bank of America, that they surveyed folks, 89% said the idea of owning a home brings emotional fulfillment rather than added stress. The overwhelming majority, 67% of home buyers would prefer to own a home for the sense of permanence, the emotional stability, rather than renting. That's key. 58% of home buyers said that owning a home is the best long-term decision for them to have control over their living space. I think being able to share this information with people that are thinking about it, they spur them to go, what, that's me. I want the fulfillment of owning my own place, my own home. Again, we started off talking on this monthly market report. This is the American dream more than anything else. I want to own a home. FinHabit said this: the decision between renting and owning a home is a significant one, impacting your finances, your lifestyle, and your future. And while renting offers flexibility and minimal responsibility for maintenance, owning a house brings a positive suite of benefits that can have lasting positive effects on your life and your financial well-being. So listen, there's not to say that renting you can't have a home, because you certainly can. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is what people want to do is they want to own a home. for a number of different reasons. They break down into benefits that are, lifestyle benefits of the stability of a home, the freedom to customize it, community involvement, um, the financial benefits, the equity, the tax advantages, the stable monthly payment, the investment potential. And, the stable monthly payment one is, I think, very, very critical. We're not talking about the financial benefits right now, but in an inflationary economy, buying a home and home ownership is one of the best hedges against inflation, right? You buy in today's dollars, you lock in a payment in today's dollars. If, excuse me, if mortgage rates come down, you get the chance to refinance, but it's not going up. That slide that we use and we covered for many, many years on the monthly market report of rent going up over time. That is what I will guarantee you, as rent goes up. The truth about it is anybody that lives indoors pays a mortgage payment. Question is, do you pay it for yourself? Do you pay it to somebody else, your landlord, and they're earning the benefits of that? And then there are long-term benefits of owning. No landlord dependency. It's a forced savings plan, and you have the potential, maybe if you hang on to that house, for potential rental income. So many good things to talk about in owning a home. And I would even say right now, recording a real talk video about one of these things. We've got home ownership and we've got real talk videos to be able to get out there and talk about these pieces right now is critically important here in June. House Logic said this: interest rates sure do get a lot of attention, but they shouldn't be the only part of your home buying decision-making process. After all, the answer to the question, is right now a good time to buy a house, boils down to whether the time is right for you to start your new chapter, to invest in what makes you happy. I think this topic is what, going back to what I said, a lot of headlines about mortgage rates and affordability and prices and all the things going on in real estate. But the question is it the right time for you? It's not timing the market, it's time in the market that matters in real estate. There are a couple other slides that I'll give you before we wrap it up here today, but there are 3 reasons that owning a home is more preferable to renting. This came from a Fannie Mae study they did. 94% said having a sense of privacy and security is critically important to me. Having a good place for your family, that's critically important. 91% said that. 90% said having a good place to raise your children. Critically important about owning my own home. This is what I want for my privacy, for my family, for my kids, and that's driving my decision. And the other things that drive decisions are the abilities to customize and paint a room and make it your own, and all the things that we know about owning a home. I'll wrap with this quote right here: our homes offer spaces to reflect our taste, our ethos, and routines without external judgment. Hanging our favorite artwork, surrounding ourselves with favorite colors, and developing layouts reflective of personal lifestyles are all ways our homes offer opportunities for self-expression. Isn't that the truth? I think everybody that's owned a home or owns a home can say, you know what, that was true for me. I was able to customize it or do whatever I wanted to without the hassle of somebody else that maybe I was renting it from, to be able to do that. I hope you keep that in mind here in June, in National Home Ownership Month. All the reasons that are non-financial that people buy homes, and probably oftentimes the greatest motivators, the emotional reasons to buy a home. I do want to tell you one thing before we wrap up here on the June monthly market report. Our summer buyer and seller guides are out right now. Things to consider when selling your homes, things to consider when buying a home. Great resources to get in the hands of those that you're working with. Maybe it's in an open house, maybe it's in some other function. Printing these out and having them ready and available for people is key. You can email them out as well. Many of you do that as KCM members, but take advantage of that resource. Many times when I get a chance to talk to KCM members, they'll say, you know what, I love the guides. I love being able to get those in the hands of the people that I'm working with so that they can educate themselves before I even sit down with them. And I can answer questions. I can talk to them about that. So hope this monthly market report is beneficial to you in understanding all the things that buyers need to know, all the things about non-financial benefits of owning a home, so that you can go out and be articulate and be a voice in the market about National Homeownership Month. And we'll see you again back next month. Take care.